I've always felt I had a lot of potential, but that potential has just become this stress in my life. If I don't use it all perfectly every moment, then it's a waste. I recently had an experience that made me realize that the way I think about my own potential and the way I have tried to optimize it has been creating an enormous amount of pressure in my life. So how did I find this out? Well, I have struggled with overwhelm pretty much my entire life, but I didn't realize how bad it was until about a month ago. I just finished wrapping up with a client where I was working almost 100 hours a week, like 12 to 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I went from that to like 5 hours a week. So 100 hours to 5 hours a week. And somehow I ended up more overwhelmed, more anxious, and more stressed than when I was working those crazy hours. I was constantly feeling overwhelmed, constantly feeling like I wasn't doing enough. And all of this was leading to a very stressed out nervous system that I didn't really know how to cope with. I had this realization when I was on a phone call with my family member that this isn't actually normal. And it's not something that is sustainable and not a way that I want to keep living. So I was trying to reflect on why this is happening, what I can do about it. And I started with the most obvious thing, which is this life optimization system that I've created. So over several years, I've gradually been building this system to try and organize my life. It has my life goals, it has my dreams and visions, it has my yearly goals, my month goals, my week goals, breaking it down into tasks and everything, which in theory sounds great, but the problem is I was treating absolutely everything as a goal. I was treating ideas as goals. I was treating spiritual growth as goals. Even things I couldn't control, like inner healing. It's like, I have to have my inner healing done by January of 2025. Everything in my day has to be ticked off. Did I wake up at the right time? Check. Did I drink 8 glasses of water? Check. And it's like this constant self-surveillance, trying to grow in every area of my life at the same time. This was part of my old system where I'd go through and I have to answer all of these questions every morning, all of these questions every evening, giving myself a score every day, checking off every single thing every habit that I want to do, tracking every single food item I eat. Not a good system. Don't recommend. I think for 2025, I had like 80 year goals, 10 per life category. And I think I maybe got to like 4 or 5 of them. I felt like I had to do it all. I had to accomplish every dream on there, every item on the list, and it all was just creating so much inner pressure. And now I just spent 3 months ignoring it because I was working such crazy hours. So I had this massive buildup of all these tasks, all these deadlines that I'd missed. I was trying to create this system to optimize my life, but really I had just built a productivity cage that was sucking my energy and my joy and making me feel like I was constantly failing at life. So I'm like, okay, let's fix the system. Let's, optimize the optimization system. Let's just make it simpler and more streamlined and everything will be better. So the next day, I sat on my bed, I got my laptop out, and I spent like 12 hours trying to fix this system, trying to clean it up, trying to reduce the pressure. But as I was doing so, I was having so much resistance to letting go of these things. I still desperately wanted to maximize my full potential. And so the idea of letting go of even a single goal or dream was so difficult. So I would take something out and then I'd try and like sneak it back in somehow. And I was just like sabotaging myself the entire process. And at the end of 12 hours, I felt completely exhausted and awful and like I'd made no progress and I still had the same amount of mess and still was just as overwhelmed and was feeling terrible for just like sitting there for a day, wasting my time. And so I did what I do when I get super stressed and super overwhelmed, and I turned to junk food and like binge watching stuff on YouTube, and just felt like even more complete garbage and awfulness at the end. So the next day I woke up and was still feeling pretty awful from the night before and realized I need some help. So I went to my local church, to their adoration chapel, and I spent like an hour there. And I was praying. And as I was praying, it was like a very different type of prayer than I've done before, where I actually truly felt convicted that I was going to get healed. It was weird. And it was just a crazy experience because I literally felt this like tension in my chest, like being released. And it was tension that I didn't even know was there at all. And it was a very, healing experience. And it was really beautiful. So this incredible tension was gone, which was amazing. But I still had, the practical aspects of how do I continue to achieve goals and stay organized? And, what do I do with this system? So I went back to my laptop and I spent a couple days untangling everything. And as I started reworking it, simplifying it, I was realizing it's not just the system that is the problem, it's all of the underlying beliefs that it represents. I've been treating my life and myself as this constant self-improvement project. And I've fallen into this like hyper-productivity culture where I always feel I should be doing more. If I don't execute everything, I'm failing. And being productive is not a bad thing. I have just been wrapping so much of my identity around being hyper-productive and around these goals and lists that I've held on to for literally years. And the reality is there's so many things on those lists that I cannot physically do them all. So I was measuring myself against this ideal Kirsten that doesn't even exist, that isn't even possible. The Kirsten that never wastes a second, tracks everything, is constantly achieving, and is just like perfect at managing time in every single moment and doesn't waste. Which honestly doesn't even sound like a great Kirsten, that just sounds like stressful and uptight. At the beginning of January, I had been planning out my year, and this word came to me, which was surrender. And so as I'm thinking about this system, this word comes to mind. And I just feel like I am being called to surrender, to let go of all of the perfect plans I had made and the perfect system and the lists of hundreds and hundreds of different things I want to achieve. To let go of this belief that I have to do it all. To let go of the timelines that everything has to be done by. To even let go of some of the deep dreams that I've been holding on to really tightly. Now, I haven't given up all of my organization and lists and goals, and I don't think I need to, but I do need to create a system that is focused on peace and on the present. And it's a system now made for the woman that I actually am, which is a human being with limitations and imperfections and who can't do everything. And now this is a place I can go to for guidance, and it's not a place where I'm going to evaluate if I've passed or failed my week, if I've passed or failed my life. It's just a place I can go to when I need help with being organized. So I'm still untangling all of this because this was only a few weeks ago, and I still have the tendency to overplan. I still am very ambitious, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. But the crushing weight of overwhelm is gone, and the unfulfilled dreams and tasks I have are not weighing me down. So my job is no longer to fulfill every ounce of potential or capability that I have. It's simply to do the next right step today and to surrender the rest. And that change has brought an incredible amount of peace So I hope this is helpful to someone. I am probably not the only person that has experienced, this level of overwhelm, although I am pretty neurotic, so it's possible.